Hideki Nishimura, in-game known as Russian, is a hardcore otaku who loves playing an MMORPG known as Legendary Age Online, commonly called LAO. Despite the game having mechanics that benefit the people who spend money on it, the core game is free. Hideki, along with his guild members Eiko, Schween, and Apricot, has spent countless hours in-game forging memories while grinding the game under the guild name Alley Cats. He feels more at home with his guild members than he does with any of his friends in real life, but at least Hideki still understands the difference between real life and video games. Despite vowing to himself to never get married in an online game after an unfortunate event, Hideki marries Eiko from his guild because she kept stalking him throughout the game and persistently asked him to marry her. In school, Hideki doesn't hide the fact that he is an otaku and lives up to it, something that his classmate Akane Segawa cannot stomach. One day after a regular dungeon clear, all the Alley Cats guild members gather around to discuss what they are like in the real world. Out of all of them, Schwein seems to be the only normie. He tells them how he got confessed to in real life, but he rejected the person making everyone in his guild jealous, especially Eiko, who just wants all normies to drop dead. Eiko, seeing that Hideki still wishes to find someone in real life, tells everyone that he once proposed to a cat girl in the game, but she rejected him, saying that she is a middle-aged dude. The shock of this revelation was so big for Hideki that he left that guild and played solo for the next whole year until he realized who cares if they are a dude in real life as long as they are cute in-game, that's enough. Seeing that he is heartbroken, Eiko tells him that she is a girl in real life and Eiko is her real name, making everyone frown because that is something she shouldn't say in an open chat. The guild master, Apricot, tells them that she is a high school girl too, but nobody believes her because she spends too much money on the game. She then invites everyone to meet in real life as an offline get-together. The next day, Hideki nervously goes to meet everyone and is shocked to see that Eiko is a girl. What's even more shocking to him is that Apricot is his school's student council president. Kyoko Shoin and Schwein is none other than Akane Segawa. Everyone from the guild is surprised that they all go to the same school. Hideki apologizes to them for thinking that they were all dudes and tells them that he is glad after meeting them in real life because they are just as cool as they are in the game. Before they leave, Akane pulls Hideki by the collar, warning him that if he tries to talk with her like they are friends in class, she will end his life, making a chill crawl down his spine. On their way back home, Eiko asks Hideki what he really thought of her when they met in the game. He tells her that he thought she was a middle-aged guy before. When she asks why he agreed to marry her then, Hideki tells her that her gender didn't really matter to him, creeping Eiko out. Before he heads back home, Eiko tells Hideki that she loves him, throwing him off for a moment, but he tells her that reality and life are two different things. Upon getting home, Hideki fires up LAO like always and joins his guild just before they set off for another dungeon clear. He thought that things would be weird after meeting them in person, but it seemed all fine to him. However, for some reason, he couldn't digest their avatars and started seeing them like they are in real life. The next day, school is awkward for both Hideki and Akane because they don't know how to act around each other anymore. Suddenly, Eiko bursts into his class and starts clinging to him, calling him Russian. Both Hideki and Akane try to avoid her, but eventually pull her out of the class when she starts telling everyone that she and Hideki are married. When they manage to get her somewhere private, they try to explain to her that game and reality are different, which genuinely confuses Eiko. Worried that she might have compromised her health, they take her to Kyo and explain the situation to her. After school, Kyo calls them over to a new club room called the Net Game Club. Every day after school, they can get together and play LEO so that Eiko can slowly learn the difference between the real world and the game because they will be right next to her. At first, Akane doesn't want to be a part of the club because she spent so long creating her high school image, but agrees to join after hearing the insane specs of the computers in the club. Over a year has passed since Hideki was brutally rejected by Nekoheim, the character he fell in love with for the first time in LEO. During one of his daily missions, Hideki coincidentally runs into her again. When she asks how he's doing, he tells her that it was harsh at first, but he managed somehow to join a guild as well, making Nekoheim happy that he didn't quit the game. The next day, Hideki's homeroom teacher, Yuseiba, takes him aside and thanks him for making friends with Eiko. Since she didn't have a social circle before, Eiko usually missed school, but now she has started to get a bit more regular. On their way back home after their usual club meeting, Eiko tells Hideki that she has been coming to school regularly and needs a break. When he tells her that she needs to be regular to graduate, Eiko just tells him that she is not worried since she knows that he will support them both eventually. The next day, when their club meeting ends, Kyo gives them the bad news, saying that they don't have much time to help Eiko since they don't have an advisor and the club might shut down. That night, Hideki meets up with Nekoheim and LAO and asks her for advice about the situation. She just tells him to believe in himself and he will be successful. The very next day, Hideki tries to sit Echo down for a private talk and explain to her the reality of things, but she sees right through him and asks which woman has been planting these ideas into his mind. Hideki tries to deny it, but her intuition is strong. She also catches him the very same day talking to Nekoheim again. The next day, Eiko misses school. When she logs into Leo, Echo tells them that she won't be coming today as she is meeting someone else from Leo today in real life. Worried that she might have gotten herself into trouble, Hideki rushes over to her. As soon as he reaches Akko, Hideki's jaw drops in shock as the person she is meeting is his teacher, Yu. Akko tells him that she is known as Nekoheim and that she brought her out here to confront her about trying to steal her husband. Hideki can't move after realizing that he had proposed to his homeroom teacher. Yu tells him that this is exactly why she likes to cosplay in the game. Akko pushes away Yu's small talk and attacks her with a small staff, but Yui easily knocks her out. The next day, Yu agrees to be their faculty advisor after Kyo threatens to reveal her identity to everyone at school. She does, however, only join on the condition that everyone will come to school as often as their health allows them. Hideki is telling Akko how when he was done playing solo, he tried to join a guild, but they rejected him since he wasn't hardcore enough when he notices that Akko is waving in the air trying to sell items to get some money for food. He informs everyone at the club about what just happened, and they all agree that her condition is slowly getting worse. After getting drowned by his friend's snide remarks about him finally getting a girlfriend, Hideki heads back to the club where he finds Akko in distress. Upon asking, Akko tells him that the girls in his class have started gathering around her, asking why she spends so much time in his class and what's her relationship with Hideki. At first, Hideki is concerned that the social pressure might be too much for her to handle, but is put at ease when he finds out that Akko is more worried that her mysterious, silent character look at high school is getting tarnished. Suddenly, Akane's friend, Nanako Akiyama, walks in on them. Seeing her, that puts Akane on edge. She tells Akane that she saw her entering the room and got curious. Nanako starts questioning everyone about the club, making Akane lose it. She pushes Nanako out of the room and falls to her knees in shock that her high school life is now over and everyone will know that she's an otaku. The next day, Akko and Hideki attend the club, but neither Kyo nor Akane shows up. When Akko asks about them, Hideki doesn't know where Kyo is, but Akane is still recovering from the shock she received yesterday. They both decide to enter the game and enjoy themselves. They quickly run into Yua, who is trying to run away from her guild known as Nekoheim's Elite Guard, and decide to avoid her entirely. After a while, a completely new player, Set, shows up in front of them being attacked by slimes. Seeing that she is a complete beginner in the same class as him, Hideki decides to help her out and give her some pointers despite Akko's daunting gaze that he might be trying to bag another girl. The next day, after making sure 7 times that no one was following her and that Nanako had gone home, Akane takes a breath of relief and enters the club ready to play LAO with everyone again. Just when they are about to head out on their first quest, Set shows up and starts clinging to Hideki, making Akko jealous. When Kyo asks Hideki who she is, he tells them that as far as he knows, Set is a complete beginner. Seeing that a new player has arrived, Akane tries to flex her abilities and tells Set that she should learn from her instead, but she just laughs at her. The next day, Akko eagerly tells them that they should try a different game as well, so they all decide to try out a first-person shooter called Ultra Force. They all join a team deathmatch and quickly put up against tryhards. While everyone else tries to struggle, Akko takes up the game easily despite it being her first time experiencing an FPS game. The next day in class, Akko is hanging around Hideki's seat as usual when Nanako comes over and asks why they weren't online yesterday. It takes them a moment to realize that she is actually Set from the game, shocking Akane, who is right behind her. She grabs Hideki's arm, asking Akko if they both are a couple outside the game as well. Hideki, after seeing the look on Akko's face, quickly pulls away his arm and tries to calm her down, but she runs away crying. When Nanako learns about Akko's condition, she apologizes to them saying that she didn't know. The next day, Akko doesn't attend school again. Akane tries to contact her, but she doesn't respond. Hideki goes online to ask where she is. Akko tells him that she has decided to quit school and from now on, she will only live in LAO. Hideki decides that it's best for him to talk to her in person, so he goes to her house where Akko's mother lets him in and hands the keys to her room. When Hideki finally manages to get alone with her, she tells him that he cannot change her mind. Hideki tells her that he's not here for that, but to spend time with her instead. After they spend the entire day playing LAO, they join the guild meeting in-game where Yu is waiting for them as well. Hideki tells Yu that he has decided to quit school as well, shocking Akko. She tells him that he can't leave school as Kyo and Akane would miss him. In response, Hideki tells Akko that it's true for her as well. She tells him that real life is too hard for her, But Hideki manages to break through to her, saying that they will take things slowly and all her friends will be there to support her along the way. Every girl in Eiko's class gathers around her with Nanako, talking about the latest fashion magazines, trends, and what would look good on her, but it's all too much for her. During the club meeting, Akane gives Ako one of her magazines, explaining to her to take this as a wiki guide to a game that tells her what she needs to do to become a successful high school girl. Ako tells her that she likes to explore things herself, but both she and Hideki fall into despair when Akane tells them that unlike MMORPGs, this world is online 24/7 and everyone is engaged in sort of a PvP match. When they start playing the game, they decide to join Nanako and help her do some questing. As they finish, Nanako tells them that they seem awfully relaxed since the exams are coming up, shocking Akane and Hideki, who had completely forgotten. In order to prepare for the exams, Kyo tells them that the club will be closed till the examination ends. They can play at home, but that will be completely up to them. On their way back home, Hideki asks Ako how her last exams went and if she is prepared for the next one, but she keeps avoiding the subject. He tries to deny the fact that she might have gotten F in every subject, but to his distaste, it is true. Hideki informs everyone about Ako's situation, and they decide to help her study. As she logs into LAO, they all lock her in a room and start forcing her to study. When the exams finally end, Yu visits them in LAO and gives them the good news that Ako had passed all exams. Before they all log out, Hideki asks Kyo and Akane to stay on for a moment. When they're finally alone, Hideki tells them that he wants to tell Ako that he loves her but has no idea how to do it. Both of them remain quiet for a while, then tell him that it's up to him since they don't have any experience, and tell him that they doubt that she'll shoot him down since Ako thinks of him as her real husband. On the last day of school, Kyo tells everyone to be ready as this weekend they will be attending the club camp. On their way back home, Hideki finally manages to gather his courage and asks Ako to be his girlfriend, but she completely rejects him. He runs to Kyo and Akane, crying about his bad luck. Seeing him that way disgusts Akane. She then calls Ako asking about what happened on speaker, to which Ako tells them that of course she would reject Hideki since being his girlfriend would mean that they are divorced. Since Ako spends too much time on the internet, Kyo tells them that they should go somewhere where there is no internet connection for at least 24 hours. That way Ako will be able to experience summer vacations like a regular girl, and for that Kyo has prepared a place for them. The next weekend they were all set out for the destination Kyo had decided. Upon reaching, Yu's jaws dropped the fact that Kyo, who was just a student, was able to rent a private beach for them. They spend the entire day playing at the beach until they are completely famished. Kyo tells them that she has arranged a BBQ for them, but all the ingredients are raw and unprepared, so Ako takes the responsibility to cook for everyone since she's the only one who knows how to do it. Akane tells her that she wants to help out, but Ako refuses, saying that they don't have the time, completely breaking her heart that out of all people, Ako wouldn't be requiring her help. The next day, they head off to a hotel that is in collaboration with Legendary Age. All individuals are provided with a token and informed that it can be used to log in from any computer located in the lobby. Furthermore, they are informed of a unique event happening in LAO that provides additional rewards exclusively for those who use the token. They excitedly rush to the computers to start playing instantly, but when Hideki tries to log in, the page refreshes and doesn't accept his password. Hideki thinks that it's odd, but thinks he must have typed it wrong. Later that night, as Hideki plays LAO alone with Ako, his account suddenly logs out. Hideki tries to log back in again, but the game doesn't accept his password. He tries a couple of more times before finally realizing that he has been hacked. He runs out of his room and heads straight toward Ako's room. When she finally opens her door, Ako is crying. After consoling her, Hideki goes through her chat and is disgusted to find out how awfully a hacker treated Ako. After Hideki catches everyone up to speed, Yu tells them that she will inform the hotel management team instantly. When Kyo asks about his account, Hideki tells her that he regained access, but all his items are gone and his character has been deleted. He tells them that he will try and rebuy whatever items he can because they have a certain sentimental value to them. Everyone agrees to help him out. Hideki then goes online with an alternate account to meet with the leader of the Black Magicians Guild, who gladly lends him his aid, telling him to be careful online. Yu goes to her guild and asks them to lend her their aid as well. They eventually start finding Hideki's items and find the guy who is selling his items but cannot prove anything as their IP addresses don't match. They inform the game admins about it, but they tell him to bring solid proof for it. During one of their meetings, the Black Magician interrupts them to tell them that he found a lead. He then shows them a website where the hacker was bragging about hacking Hideki's account. He tells Hideki that the hacker participates in account trading for money, so that is his only option for catching him. Hideki, Akane, and Kyo spend the next few days forging a website with posts that are a couple of years old. The hacker eventually comes across the website and agrees to trade with Hideki. Just when the deal is about to go through, Hideki alerts the admins about it. The hacker tries to deny allegations made against him, but the admins completely ban him since they had received multiple violations from his IP address that Hideki's website was able to grab. Summer vacations are about to end, but Eiko still hasn't finished any of her homework. For that, Kyo invites Eiko, Akane, and Nanako over to her home so they can finish it together. Eiko gets uncomfortable seeing Nanako there, but Nanako tells her that she will become her friend. When everyone gets there, they are shocked to see Kyo actually lives inside a mansion. That was given by the fact that she spends so much money on LAO, but they had no idea that her family was this well off. They enter the house and see that it is filled with servants and maids who all start crying that Kyo had finally brought home some friends since they had no hope for her, embarrassing Kyo. She also tells them that they are not real maids, as all of them decided to cosplay once they heard that Kyo was bringing friends over. Kyo takes them to her room where she starts flexing her gaming setup, making the Conning jealous. They all eventually sit down to study. Barely a few minutes pass when Eiko gives up and asks where the bathroom is. Kyo gives her the directions and tells Nanako to go with her since she might try to run home. After she finishes using the bathroom, Eiko tries to get rid of Nanako and tries to wander to the house, but she keeps following her. They enter an office where they tremble upon a hidden chest behind a bookshelf. Upon opening, they find an album in it. Suddenly, one of the maids appears behind them, telling them that the album is their most sacred treasure as it has embarrassing pictures of Kyo. When the maid tells her that they now need to join a cult to protect the album, they both run away from her. However, the maid doesn't let up and continues chasing them until they both eventually lose her by hiding under a table. On their way back, Nanako tells Eiko that she really meant it when she said she wants to be her friend. Later that night, as they are all about to go to bed, Nanako asks Eiko why she considers Hideki to be her husband when they are only married in the game. Both Akane and Kyo tell Nanako that she's asking Eiko a dangerous question, but she doesn't get it. Eiko presents an example scenario and poses the question of how it would feel if a real couple playing LAO chose to marry someone else in the game, even though one of them did not want to. The group collectively agrees that this would constitute a form of cheating. At this point, they begin to empathize with Eiko and urge her to stop attempting to manipulate their opinions. Summer vacation finally ends and everyone joins school back again. Everyone, especially Hideki, is proud that Eiko didn't decide to skip school on the first day. Before the first class began, Akane drags Hideki out of the class and tells him that everyone is asking her about her summer vacation. Since she put up a front of being a totally normal schoolgirl, she now does not know what to tell them. Hideki tells her that he has no idea how to help her out. During the club meeting, Yu tells everyone that the cultural festival is coming up and they need to show everyone what their club has achieved over the past few months. Seeing as they cannot put Eiko on display, Hyo gives them a suggestion and tells them that LAO recently got a PvP update, Siege Warfare, where they can fight to take over a fort and host their guild's emblem on them. What they can do is take part in it and host the school's emblem. Since it only takes place on Sundays, they only have a few tries to conquer it, so they must train for it. During training, no matter what Kyo tries, she's unable to land even a single hit on any of them. Hideki gives her the bad news that her equipment and mage class are weak and that she can't hold up in PvP. They decide to join battle and see what it is really like. They hide in the grass and analyze how the other guild fights first, but the entire guild is completely wiped out in under 10 seconds. Kyo, however, still orders them to charge in only to die in a few seconds. After they resurrect, they dash toward the fort again only to die. Seeing that they cannot even use siege weapons since they are a small guild, Kyo rushes in solo saying that she will use her premium cash shop items, without hearing Hideki's warnings that premium items are disabled in PvP and dies instantly. Suddenly, Yu's guild attacks the fort and takes it instantly. The next week, Eiko tells them that their class has decided to go for a maid cafe and is putting her in charge of almost everything. Hideki tells her not to worry as they will figure out a way to help her. As they all get ready for another siege battle with Nanako, Kyo tells everyone that they will be trying to take over a small fort with the server's most elite mercenary guild, Wallenstein. Before the raid begins, everyone from the guild Alley Cats meets the 5 members of Wallenstein. Hideki looks at them in awe as all 5 of them have fully maxed out PvP gear. Their leader, Bats, comes forth and introduces all of them, then proceeds to form an alliance with their guild. As they start to strategize, Bats tells them that this fort is small, so it will be easy for them to capture. He just tells them to tag along and stay out of their way as they will only be a hindrance. When the raid begins, Bats tells Nanako and Eiko to run around the fort as decoys, so the enemy gets distracted. Despite not liking this idea, both Kyo and Hideki agree with them as their strategy seems sound. As soon as the enemy's forces disperse, Akane and Hideki rush in to fight, but Wallenstein quickly charges in, taking out every enemy with ease before they even get a chance to fight. They enter the throne room and destroy the enemy's crystal, taking over the fort. When everything is done, Bats tells them that they'll head to the town to resupply and take out any enemies along the way, so they just need to be present here for a few more minutes. Despite taking over the fort, none of the alley cats feel any sense of accomplishment. Suddenly, an announcement informs everyone that the alliance between Wallenstein and alley cats has ended. Bats quickly pounces on them from behind and kills them all, capturing the fort just before the timer ends. When they respawn, Kyo asks Bats his reasons for betraying them, to which he tells her that it is all just for entertainment. While Kyo takes full responsibility for what happened and prepares for the next battle, Hideki visits Aka, who is preparing things for the maid cafe. He is surprised to see that she was able to procure the maid outfits from Kyo, but when he asks about the serving menu and shift schedule, she tells him that she has done nothing about them. Hideki goes to her class to tell them about the bad news on her behalf. They all thank Akko for getting the maid outfits and quickly get to work since only a week is left, surprising Akko that everyone is willing to help her out. The alley cats prepare for the next siege battle and contact Neckoheim's elite guard to help them, who eagerly jump in since Wallenstein had killed Neckoheim as well during the last siege battle. The last stop they make is the Black Magician's Guild. They tell the Black Magician that they only want to form an alliance with them, so no one tries to retake the fort and that they do not need any men from him. Despite having no benefit in it, the Black Magician agrees to form an alliance with them because it seemed fun. Before the next battle began, Akko and Hideki had visited Bats, asking about his guild's playstyle, to which he eagerly told them they prefer to be offensive because it's more exhilarating. Keeping this in their mind, they know that the fort will be empty when they take it over, but defending it will be the hard part. This is their final shot at winning the siege before the cultural festival. Guild Alley Cats, along with Neckoheim's elite guard, enter the battlefield to take over the fort, which for now has already been captured by someone else. They break the fort doors open with siege weapons and barge in, fighting to the best of their abilities. Nanako types in open chat that the Black Magician is on its way, which throws the enemy completely off, allowing them to wipe them out completely, taking over the fort. As 20 minutes remain, another guild tries to attack them during this time, but Kyo uses her massive meteor to wipe them all out in a single move. Finally, with 10 minutes remaining, Wallenstein starts approaching the fort. They start pushing into the fort with ease, taking out everyone like they are nothing but mobs. They finally reach the inner hall of the fort where Hideki is standing alone. They get ready to take him out, but Nanako pops up right beside them, distracting them so much that they end up using their skills. With their skills on cooldown, the remaining forces attack and start taking down Wallenstein's members until only 2 remain. Bats quickly takes out everyone and pushes into the throne room to fight Kyo, while Hideki keeps their tank busy. He tries to kill Kyo, who is blocking his way, but she keeps spamming one key, using a healing item, regenerating her health to full until the timer runs out and they are victorious. As everything ends, Bats asks Kyo how she was able to keep herself alive, to which she tells him that she just used almost 500 seeds of Yggdrasil to nullify his damage, shocking Bats since they cost 10 million gold each. They finally take a picture with the school's emblem on top of the fort and display it to everyone in the school. While everyone thinks that this is some sort of joke, the alley cats are happy that they were finally able to accomplish something. If you like what you saw, consider subscribing to the channel and stay tuned for more quality uploads.